How's it going, everyone? It's AFC Finners here. We've done many grounds on this series, but this is by far the biggest yet. We're here at Wembley to see England against Cote D'Ivoire in an international friendly. I haven't been to an England game for years. You might find it interesting. The last time I was at an England game was that infamous one where a paper aeroplane was thrown onto a pitch and it hit a Peruvian player. The famous video you've all seen, that was pretty much my view. I'd love to say I was the guy that threw the plane, but I wasn't. But here we are, back at Wembley. Let's have a look around Wembley Park as we head up the famous Wembley Way. Wembley, Wembley. There's my programme. Only cost me £5, not too bad. And it's actually got the team sheets on the back. Take note, Wimbledon. Right, so just been to the Wembley store. I got myself another beautiful shirt for the collection. Look at that, 66 with more 6 on the back. Cost me 35 quid. Also got a couple more bits of merch. So FA Cup badge, you know how special that is to me. Cost a tenner, a bit too much for it, but and England pin badge as well, only 6 quid. So yes, I spent 49 quid in the store, but I've earned it. I'm going to put this shirt on shortly. We're going to roast alive in 3 layers, but it's worth it when the kit's this beautiful. There we go, on the lovely arch. And there he is, Bobby Moore.
Yeah, I'm Olivier, a fan of Cote D'Ivoire team. We just arrived from Cote d'Ivoire yesterday to support our team because we know that we're gonna win England tonight. We're gonna have 2-1 for England. 2 for us, 1 for England. Yeah, allez les éléphants!
I admire your optimism. How many times have you seen Cote d'Ivoire play?
Many times we see them play, but tonight is our night, and we know we're gonna win this.
Yeah. At AFCON this year, you knocked out Algeria, which is good, but then unfortunately you lost to Egypt on penalties.
True, yeah.
But next year, Cote d'Ivoire are hosting the AFCON. How do you think they're going to do?
Okay. No, I think that unfortunately we had a good team, but we could not win Egypt. We lost. And we went out of the competition early. But now we're getting ready for next year AFCON in Ivory Coast. And there we know that our team will be stronger and we will do better than what we did in Cameroon. And hopefully, and without any doubt, we'll go to the final and we might win this final in Ivory Coast.
Good man. Best of luck for next year. It'd be great to see you win it. All right, so what are your names?
Isla.
And Matt.
Nice to meet you. So how are you feeling about tonight's game?
Feeling confident. I think England will probably win 3-0.
Correct! That's the spirit. How many times have you seen England?
This will be my 3rd time seeing it, but it's her 1st time.
Oh, brilliant. How you think about your first game?
Good.
That's the spirit. You think we'll win?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. And so obviously it ended in disappointment here last year at the Euros. How do you think we can do at the World Cup?
I can't see any reason why we can't make the final at least.
Yes. And the best part, we're at the World Cup, Italy aren't. Yes. So inside Wembley, nice and early. We're going to go to our seats in a minute. But before we do, let's find out a little bit about today's hosts, England. England are the joint oldest national team in the world, along with Scotland. The two teams played the first ever international match in 1870, although the first match recognised by FIFA was a 0-0 draw between the two teams, 2 years later. England mostly played against other home nations over the next 40 years, with the odd tour across Europe. Due to a dispute with FIFA, England did not enter the first 3 editions of the World Cup, but would finally travel for the 1950 edition in Brazil. Despite being amongst the favourites, a shock 1-0 loss to the USA led to them crashing out of the tournament at the group stage. 3 years later, they were humiliated in their own backyard when a legendary Hungarian team defeated them 6-3, to highlight how far behind the Three Lions were tactically. In the return leg, England lost 7-1, which is still their biggest ever defeat. England reached the quarter-finals of the 1954 World Cup, but lost to Uruguay, and England's hopes for the 1958 World Cup were dashed by the Munich air disaster, and they were knocked out by the Soviet Union. The 1960s saw England start to catch up with the tactics of other nations, and after reaching the quarter-finals of the 1962 World Cup, in 1966, under the management of Alf Ramsey, they hosted and won the tournament, after a Geoff Hurst hat-trick in the final saw England defeat West Germany 4-2. They reached the semi-finals of the 1968 European Championships and the quarter-finals of the World Cup in 1970. However, they failed to qualify for the 1974 edition, which led to Ramsey's departure, and England would not play at another major tournament until 1982. The 90s saw them reach the semi-finals of the World Cup and European Championships, and although the 2000s saw what many described as a golden generation of talents, they failed to advance beyond the quarter-finals of any tournaments, and even failed to qualify for Euro 2008. After crashing out of Euro 2016 to Iceland, Gareth Southgate was appointed as manager. In his first tournament, he took England to the semi-finals of the World Cup, their best tournament result for 22 years, and he would take them to their first final since 1966 in the European Championships. England would agonisingly lose the final to Italy on penalties, but with a hotbed of young talent coming through across the country, the future is bright for the Three Lions, as they look to make up for years of disappointment. Overall, they have won 1 World Cup and 54 home championships. And a bit of trivia, England's first recognised fixture against Scotland finished 0-0, despite the fact that England played with 8 forwards and Scotland with 6. So those are our hosts, England. Let's have a look inside their home, Wembley Stadium. Here we are, Wembley Stadium, London, England.
So we're here at Wembley, we're in our seats, we've got a great view. It's been a fantastic day so far. You can feel a really positive atmosphere. People are coming here with smiles on their faces. It's going to be a fantastic evening. It's great to be back. I'm loving it.
Celebrity spotting. Down there we have Ray Parlour and Paul Merson, Arsenal legends.
Just over half an hour into the game, Sterling's won the ball back on the left-hand side. He's played it across. Ollie Watkins there for the tap-in. 1-0 England. Well deserved. Aurier has been sent off for Cote D'Ivoire. He'd already been booked. An Ivorian player got pushed to the floor. I don't know if it was Aurier, but just after he was complaining to the referee and he got fed up and gave him the second yellow card. I did say, because Aurier was playing, England have won, and he's so bad, I think that's actually an advantage to the Ivorians. Cote d'Ivoire down to 10 men. Just before half time, and Sterling has doubled England's lead. Sangare made a brilliant save, it came back out, Grealish played it cross, and Sterling has tapped it in for 2-0. That's probably the win settled now. I knew the floodgates would open at some point, and England take advantage. The Ivorians having 10 men, 2-0. Half time, 2-0 to England. It's a very fair reflection. England have been the dominant side. Jack Grealish has been absolutely superb on the left side. He's been carving the defence like a turkey, but to be fair, he was against Serge Aurier. But he's been brilliant. His dribbling has been absolutely superb. I've been really impressed with Tyreek Mitchell at left back as well. He's advanced brilliantly. Comprehensive performance from England. I expect to see more in the second half, and they'll seal this in style, hopefully. 2-0. Oh my goodness. So, people watching on telly, you probably saw the people throwing paper planes. One landed next to me. I tried to throw it, see if it landed on the pitch. It hit a steward on the head. Somehow I've not been kicked out, but left my mark on Wembley Stadium. The dying seconds of the game, swung in, and Tyrone Mings has leapt, headed it into a corner. Probably the final act of the game. England have put the cherry on top of the cake. Full time at Wembley Stadium, it's finished 3-0 to England. They did what they needed to do, straightforward performance, 3 goals, routine win. I was glad that they did the third because the last 20 minutes they were just passing it around waiting for full time. I'm glad we could get something else for our money. But yeah. Yay! Yeah, brilliant evening, 3 goals, had a lovely time here at Wembley. Good to be back. So that was Wembley Stadium, home of England, by far the biggest ground we've done on this series so far, and it's probably going to be a while before we do one equal to or bigger than this. But I've had an absolutely fantastic evening, like I was saying at the start. It's a very positive atmosphere. People came here, really enjoyed it, and fair play to Cote D'Ivoire fans that we saw, very upbeat people. And I wish them best of luck in next year's African Cup of Nations, which they'll be hosting. Only 30 quid or so to get tickets to that, and for every tenner we paid we saw a goal. Fantastic experience. Thank you to my friend the Gloucester Groundhopper for organising this. Heaven knows what the next one will be, but it sums up this series. Yesterday we did Newham Town, today we did Wembley. Thank you all for watching, see you next time, and stick with us as we go ground to ground. AFC Finners out.